I'm Eugenia Yvette, and here is another episode of EY's Conversation of Elevation. And my special guest tonight is Mr. Simply Put himself, or better known as his real name, Price McKinney. Mr. Price McKinney, thank you for being my special guest tonight. I am honored to have you here, and I'm looking forward to talking about all the great things you're doing. And I heard that you are super hype about this new hoodie that you got out. So we're going to talk about that sometime tonight. Okay. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. This is my rookie debut to radio. Never did this before, and I'm excited. I want to thank you for the opportunity. This is pretty amazing. This is pretty amazing. So again, thank you so much for this.
It's my pleasure. I tell you, I am honored that you are here with me today.
Wow.
I'm going to send this to your Facebook Live.
Okay.
You can have it and share it with your friends and family. All right. Now, so who in the world is Mr. Price McKinney, or what is Simply Put? I'm just saying, what is it?
Price McKinney is two things in simplicity. I'm a father, number one, which gives me great opportunities to teach. And then I'm also a writer. I write poems, and that gives me an opportunity to reach people that I ordinarily probably wouldn't be able to touch. So that's who I am in simplicity. I love life. I enjoy living. I love people, very much so a people person. And as a result of Simply Put, is relationships made simple. It's so crazy that we're doing this today because I had to actually mail, and as you said, we'll get to that. I had to mail some of my merchandise. They call it merch now.
Okay, I hate that word too. It irritates me.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
So, the guy at the counter, he just started talking about the relationship that he just got out of. And he's 16. And the statement he made that just blew me away, he said, relationships are complicated. And that's what Simply Put is making relationships make sense and simple.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Dig it. So Simply Put is about relationships. Is that what I'm understanding? Because, we have Simply Lemonade, Simply Orange Juice. I like the Simply line. So now we have Simply Put. So you're saying Simply Put is about relationships?
I love it.
About that.
Yes, that's what it is. And I was dealing with a female several years back. Well, not that, 2 or 3 years back. And she consistently would ask me, what do you know? What do you know? What do you know? And even at that time, I honestly knew that relationships is what I know, but I didn't have the confidence at the time. And plus I didn't want that to affect, my involvement with her. But from a child all the way up, in particular, like when I was 17 was my first experience with dealing with people or a person at that time with the relationship issue. Female, I was 17. She was graduating from college. We worked together at McDonald's. And she just started talking to me about her problems with her fiance. I'm 17. What in the world do I possibly know about a relationship? And of course, at that time, I wasn't thinking about commitment or engagement or marriage. That's not where I was. But fast forward 30 years later, at age 47, me and one of my buddies were walking around the track and the light bulb just went off. Dude, you've been doing this for 30 years. Literally 30 years. Now, I'm not lettered. I don't have a letter in front of my name or behind my name. All I got is Price McKinney Sr. Those are the only letters I have. But the reality is, because of the experience I have with it, that's what's enabled me to communicate with people and talk to people. And people come to me whether I know them or not, with their relationship issues. So that and I'll be honest with you, it's actually a passion of mine. And that's what separates that from any or everything else that I do. It is an actual passion. I love doing it. Because it makes a difference in people's lives. And with COVID and all of that stuff, people are looking for answers. People have questions and they're looking for answers. And the thing that they don't want is they don't want a whole lot of extra because what they're in is already complicated. So it's taken, you know, quite a bit of time for me to honestly accept that this is what it is that I'm supposed to be doing, and now I'm actually doing it. So I love it.
Okay, so if you don't mind me asking a little
You
bit.
ask me anything.
All right, so simply put, it's about relationships, guys. So those that are watching tonight, today, whatever, um, Mr. Price McKinney is an expert, I guess, or something like that about relationships. And he calls it, simply put, I'm still trying to figure it out. What in the world is simply put about relationships? Because there's nothing simple about relationships. And you know this, right?
Yes, I do. It on one hand it's not, but how you explain it is the difference. And most of the complication, well, several of them, I won't go into all of that, but um is, you know, the complications in dealing with relationships is, you know, it's difficult for people to not express what they feel without feeling what they feel. It's difficult to do that. And because of that, when they're trying to tell you about it, you know, it sometimes they may be, and I myself, I'm guilty of it. You're clouded by the emotion that you feel at that time. So you may not be thinking clearly, or even expressing what it is that you're trying to say clearly. You know, and but when you back up, and in my case, because I'm the listener, when I just listen to what the person is saying, and because I don't have the emotion tied to or connected to whatever it is they're talking about, I can listen to them. And it's just like in school, you know, break it down like a fraction, you know, to its least common denominator. So the person understands, you know, what it is that they're dealing with. And also it's a different view, it's a different angle, you know, because when you're in a thing, it's difficult for you to see what it is that's actually going on at times because you're in it. But if somebody else is looking at what you're listening to, then it's a different view and a different angle. So that's why I'm able to do what I do the way that I do it, is because, you know, I have to listen to what the person is saying, and, you know, take the emotions out of it, you know, and just look at it for what it is.
Okay. So my question regarding that, so it sounds like you are a relationship coach. Is that about accurate to say? Am I safe to say that?
I, yeah, I think that's safe. I don't call myself an expert. I just know what I know.
Okay, that's fine. So, but you are a coach. You help people with relationships. It sounds
Yeah,
like that's
most
what I'm hearing.
most
That simply, Mr. Simply put himself is a relationship coach, right?
yes,
Okay. Now, why do you think you're qualified?
because I've got two divorces.
Okay. Well, talk.
There's an expression that says a man with an experience is never at the mercy of a man with an education or an opinion. So because I've been through that, and again, you know, this goes out for me. It goes all the way back to childhood. And granted, you know, the flip side of that coin, I've been through counseling for 5 years, so I understand a lot of it better. But my mom died when I was 8, right? So my dad got remarried, and we had a blended family, which, you know, we didn't use the term step coming up. We
Okay.
were just family, you know, so that's just what it was. So that whole dynamic, you know, was a different experience. It was great, don't get me wrong. I learned a lot. I loved it. You know, I'm close to my family members, so I had that experience. And then you know, as I got older, I got married at age 21. Did not have a clue. Didn't have a freaking clue. Didn't have a clue. My perception of what marriage was completely distorted. And that's another difficulty with relationships, is it's difficult for you to be what you can't see.
That's true. Now, while we have people watching, we're going to take a pause right there,
Okay.
a commercial break. Bring
Ex-
us some merchandise out. Can we see some of your
yes.
merchandise? That's the pause. That's the break. Okay,
Here,
what's this right here?
here is the Simply Put
Move it
T-shirt.
this way. Oh, yeah, there you go. Simply put
This
T-shirt. Okay.
this is the logo, the circle logo.
Okay, it's
Um,
hot.
I also have a square logo. which this is my favorite.
That's
It's
pretty dope. Okay.
SP,
All
simply
right.
put, Price McKinney.
All right,
And
y'all.
I also have, and these are my favorite.
Okay.
Old. Uh,
I already was having a heart attack over these right here, y'all.
the simply put hoodies.
Okay.
This
I like that's
the
hot.
dark gray, and the SP, of course, stands for simply put. Uh, then this is my favorite,
The favorite, y'all.
the white one.
White one. Okay.
Simply put,
Okay, simply put.
and then here's my other favorite, the black one.
Black one.
Yes.
Black and white. Okay, Michael Jackson. Doesn't matter if you're black or white. All
So
right, so now you have what else? What else? This is commercial time. People watching. We want them to know how they can get your stuff. Okay.
I also have a YouTube channel, Price McKinney. My first name Price. That's easy to spell. Last name McKinney, MCKI. Double NEY, and just type that in and put in simply put, and I pop up. I've got 35 videos, I think it is. I've got several subscribers. So when you go on, please subscribe to my YouTube page. That way you get the latest updates and notifications. This at some point will be on there as well. So go to YouTube. I'm also on Instagram, Grillmaster_PMac. That's another passion is grilling. Grillmaster_PMac on Instagram and of course Facebook. So eventually I get to TikTok, but I'm not there yet. So that's how you can connect with Simply Put.
Well, simply put's Instagram is definitely not simply put. Grillmaster_ all that couldn't. Yeah, no. Okay, he could make that a little bit simpler, but it's okay.
It's
So go ahead.
no, go ahead. I'm listening.
It's complicated. That Instagram is a little bit much, but it's okay. So, guys, please support my brother, simply put, Mr. Price McKinney, on his YouTube channel, on his Facebook page. I think it's Price McKinney on Facebook.
Yes.
On his Instagram, Grillmaster stuff _ all that good stuff. He said, please support him. How do they get your merchandise? How can they purchase it?
Facebook Messenger. If you have go on Facebook Messenger. Let me know your size, the quantity. And then also, if you have my phone number, you can text me. And on Instagram, you can send a message on there. So those are the 3 primary ways to order the merchandise.
Okay. Now, do you have any books out? Are you an author? You said you like writing.
I'm in the, and I forgot to bring it because I was in a rush. But I do have a book out. I've actually got to republish it because I put that out in 2003. It's called From the Heart, and it's a book of poems. And each poem has a picture that goes along with what the poem is talking about. So I'm in the process of getting that republished because it's been a while. And, so I'm going to get that done as well. That I did books back then. I did book signings. That was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
I love book science too.
Yes. It was a lot of fun. You get to meet people. And they talk to you, about whatever, and it was a blast. I can't wait to get back into that.
So now with the books, how can they get a copy? Is it on Amazon?
Well,
bookstores, where's it located?
It was on Amazon. At the time it sold out. So that's what I'm saying. I've contacted my publisher. And I'm actually in the process. I've got to take some pictures to redo the cover, redo the back of it. And as soon as I get that done, I promise you, I'm going to put it back out there, on all of the social media for people to be able to purchase.
Okay. So now, I guess this is off the subject a little bit. How do you run out of copies on Amazon? I'm an Amazon author, and
because
copies on Amazon
sold out.
Problems.
I sold out. At the time I sold out, which was a great problem to have.
Okay. Are they the ones producing it or someone else produced it?
No, someone else produced it and then.
Okay. Because see, Amazon produced my stuff. So I'll be like, wait a minute, they run out of my stuff. We're going to have some problems. I'm a #1 international bestselling author on Amazon. So if they ran out of my stuff, we're going to have some real problems because they get really paid for my. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
I'm just curious. That just kind of struck me like, wait a minute. Okay.
Yeah, it's sold out at the time. That's the number is I've got a publisher, and he did a phenomenal job with the book, phenomenal. And so when he did, he sent them to Amazon, and that's how you could order them or pre-order. So
that's awesome. Now, what is it called? What's the book called?
From the Heart.
From the Heart.
From the Heart. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
and talk about From the Heart. What motivated that?
It was the poems. That was the first book that I had published, and the poems in it were about different things that I was dealing with at the time. Like one of them, for example, I wrote a poem about 911. And the title of that one was "Who Would Have Ever Thought." And so the picture that went along with it, of course, was the two towers, like right when the first one got hit.
Okay.
So, and then there was another one that I did. One of my favorites in that particular book was called "What Is Life?" And the question of what is the meaning of life. Why do we go through the things that we go through? There was another one I wrote in there called "Lord, I'm Frustrated."
Mm.
Because I was tired of dealing with the stuff that I was dealing with at the time. So a poem hit me, and that's what it was Lord, I'm frustrated. So there were several of them. My favorite in that particular book was Murder by Mouth.
Woo, that sounds powerful. What was that about? Talk about that a little bit.
The
Share a little
picture is a big old mouth that's wide open, and the message within that poem was how, in particular, women can kill a man with words that they say
bit. Oh, okay, okay.
without
Talk
even
about
knowing.
that. Talk about it, because you're the simply put expert or
Well,
coach on relationships.
it,
Talk about that a little bit. Just
it,
just dab a little bit into that, because
yeah,
people
the,
might want to hear about that. How can we as women kill you with our mouth?
the,
Hey,
the,
hey,
the,
how you talk about it?
because men have egos, number one.
Okay,
Number two, the perception is that men don't have emotions.
but they do.
It's not that we don't have them, it's just we express them differently than women do.
But some men express them like women. I'm just saying. I've met a few that act like girls. It's such a turn off. But keep on going. My bad. I just had to put my 2 5 cents in up in there. My 1 2 3 up in there.
That one was a quarter. That one went up to a quarter.
I'm just saying.
Um,
Maybe a half a
but,
dollar, but okay.
but wow. But the perception is men don't have emotion. And again, it's not that we don't, it's just we express them differently. And typically, men shut down and withdraw,
Yeah.
whereas women, tend to be a little bit more vocal. Now that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's just, women deal with things the way that they do, and men deal with things the way that they do.
And then
But
some men deal with it like women, and some women deal with it like men.
yes, and the what you say and how you say it can be very damaging, and and that it's not confined to a male female relationship. It also that also applies to parent and child. If you're calling your child names, as young kids growing up, then they're branded with the idea that this is what I am, you know,
Right.
but believing that, and so you can crush them with that. So um, words can be very damaging, and
Amen.
they can be very damaging, and so that was the whole concept of that poem is, just be careful how you say what you say, and it does, again, it doesn't have to be, it's not just, husband and wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, that can be, boss, employee, parent, child, head coach, football player, any relationship, words can be damaging because there's two things you never get back in this world, and that's time and words. Once they're spoken, and once it's a done deal.
Now that is so true. I agree with you 100%. And that, with like you said, it could not necessarily have to be a relationship with a man and a woman, but it could be parents and children, because a lot of times people don't realize. I try to be careful what I say to mine. Even when I'm angry, um,
Right, right.
because when you
Especially,
and one thing one of my pastors said when I was younger, my bishop said, you never whip your children in anger.
right,
And
right,
even in communication with just to piggyback off what you're saying about the words, never talk to people when you're angry,
right.
because you're liable to say some things that you're really going to regret and you can't take it back. Because once they hear it out of your mouth,
That is so true.
it's like damaging. And, usually if we say stuff, we it's some truth to it.
Yeah.
Said we pretty much mean it, and I'm one of those people. I say some stuff, even in my jokes. I'm pretty serious. I'm pretty serious to whatever I say.
Yeah.
I say something, I really kind of meant it because I'm not really. I'm more of a black or white. I'm not
Right.
really much gray.
Right.
Um,
Right.
Maybe
Right.
because I was raised in a military home, so I have a lot of solids. You know,
Wow.
I'm really solid on a lot of things. I try to joke a little bit because laughter's good. It does hard get like a medicine and all that jazz.
Absolutely.
But ultimately, when it comes to the matters of the heart and business, I'm pretty solid. You know,
Right.
so we have to be careful. That's good. We have to be careful with our mouths. I'm looking forward to reading that book, getting everyone a copy of it.
Yeah.
Maybe I can buy a few and give some out. We'll talk about that after the
Right.
show.
Right.
Now back to relationships because people want to know what is Simply Put, and Simply Put is about being able to communicate. I guess relationships in a very simple way, even though nothing's simple about relationships. He's been married twice, guys, and divorced twice. And I've been married 3 times and divorced 3 times. And people say, you actually talk about, I don't have a problem. And you can
Mm-mm.
talk about it in a minute. When you have been through that experience, and I will get married again. And I
Right.
know
Right.
people probably want to shoot me for
Right.
saying it, but I will get married again. It's not about marriage. Marriage is amazing. It's beautiful. I'm sure you would
Right.
attest to that. It's
Absolutely.
just not allowing God. And I know it sounds super religious. I'm not religious at all, but I am spiritual. But not allowing God to put you and that person together.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna just go to the Bible for one hot second, just one hot second. I really don't like talking about the Bible on my shows, not because I don't believe in it, but I don't ever want to make people feel like they have to eat what I eat.
Right. Right. Right.
So, God is God of love, and He don't force us to serve Him. He don't force
Exactly.
us to eat His stuff. He
Exactly.
gives us. He said, "Here, I set before you life and death.
Right.
Choose life."
Right.
Simply put,
That's
choose life.
that's it.
But you don't have to choose life. I'm still going to be God. So I would say this: what God has put together, let no man put asunder.
That's it.
So no man can separate what God put together. Now, a
Right.
lot of times, I can only speak for me, only me. God didn't put me together with
Got
people
you.
that I got entangled with. And I heard T.D. Jakes say, I was listening to him the other day, and I was loving it. He's on my road rage. That was the title of the sermon, road rage. But he was talking about how we get in situations and we say, "Hey, God bless it."
Right.
And I'm guilty. I'm so guilty of liking someone enough to say, "God, can you bless it?"
Right.
I know we don't have everything in common, and I know he really ain't, but can you just sprinkle your blessings upon it, Jesus? And then we'll get married, and it's gonna be blessed because God blessed it. And God's like, I had nothing to do with that. Like nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. So simply put, relationships,
Mm-hmm.
talking about it because you're right. I don't really talk about relationships because I've had 3
Mm-hmm.
situations,
Mm-hmm.
and I am better for them. Yes.
Right.
Um, I beat myself up sometimes. I'm like, you could have just waited on God, you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, but God, you can bless anything, right?
Right.
Just pray and believe. But sometimes God says, I have so much better for you. I have so much better for you and even them. I'm not shouting anyone down, um, but for them, 2 of my exes are married and they have great marriages,
Right.
and praise God. I
Right.
think one is engaged. I think my last one, I think, is engaged to be married. And praise God.
Yeah.
Mine will come.
Yeah.
But I thank God for the journey. And I thank God for people like you that can say, hey, I've messed up twice.
Yes. One
And
of the
for a man to say that, talk about it. Go ahead.
one of the things in particular with horses, number one, I'm not ashamed of it.
Okay.
Uh, it's what I went through. It's my experience. Now, as I'm going through it, don't get it twisted. As I was going through it, I did. I felt shamed. I was embarrassed. Because in particular, my first one, I had 2 sons. And that was difficult. The only regret I have in my entire life is not raising them every day, not being with them every day. That's the only regret I have. Everything else is a learning experience. It's but when it comes to like you said, where you get in a relationship and God just bless it.
Yeah.
one of the
Just
things,
bless it. Sprinkle some blessings on it,
yeah,
Jesus.
one of
Woo-hoo.
the I share with people, just pump your brakes, drive with the emergency brake on. You know,
Okay.
don't do not be in a hurry to get where it is that you're trying to go.
Right.
Learn yourself, learn the person, and give it time, and that's one of the, even I myself, again, guilty of it. It's not being patient enough with the process to learn what it is that I need to learn in order for that relationship to become a success.
Question.
Yes, answer.
Now, would you say, and I'm just asking the question because I believe, and this is my belief, I'm only one person,
Hmm.
that we see the warning signs. I know you could probably, when we are involved with people that are not meant to be our lifetimers, we see the warning signs and we ignore them because maybe they're cute. Maybe they just do what they do real good. Or maybe, we don't want people to think that we can't handle it. I don't know. So talk about that a little bit because, typically in everything we do, we see warning signs and we just ignore them. I know with me, I've ignored some things. I mean, all 3 times. First marriage, we were young, like literally just
Right,
kids. We were
right,
literally we were in high school,
wow,
graduated, got married the very next day.
wow.
Now, one of my requirements was not very much as a kid, just don't want to marry anyone who's going to beat me. Because my mom was a survivor of domestic violence. So it was more like, if you hit me, I'm going to kill you. Real simple. So
Wow.
I never got with an abuser because I would, not a physical abuser, because my thing was up front. You touch me, you're dying. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, because I would have a trigger and it'd
Right,
be over. So
right.
my abuse was more so verbal, spiritual, or
Yeah,
mental. And those abuses are much worse than physical. Someone can hit you, you can just get the bruise and get it better. But when they start playing with your head and your mind and using God and using the Bible and using your
right,
position and using all
right.
that against you, then you start second guessing yourself like, well, maybe I am, or maybe and then when you get older, it's like, look, I know I'm not insecure. You got me messed up. I
Yeah.
know that and the other. I'm not going to sit here and argue with you because I do believe that women should submit. And I believe that sometimes you can submit to a fault
Mm-hmm.
when someone don't deserve your submission.
Mm-hmm.
But let's get back on subject. So subject is, we were young. So we didn't even know each other, literally. We just got married because,
Right,
we were both running from family. He
right,
was running from his family, I was running from my family, and I
right.
wanted to tell everybody I was grown finally. I'm not going to follow any more rules. I'm going to do it my way. Okay, Frank Sinatra, I'm going to do it my way and I'm going to get married. And then I knew when he asked me to marry him, I was like, okay, sure. He left. He called me. He's like, hey, did I actually marry me? You said yes. I was like, mm-hmm. He's okay, bye. And I'm like, oh my God, I just asked to do the marriage. He just asked me to marry. I said, yeah. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, right? So the first marriage, we should have done that. We were both young. Now, praise God, he's married, happily married to his beautiful wife. They've been together forever. And
Mm-hmm.
it's been amazing. And we've been divorced for like 20 some odd years.
Okay.
But I knew then. And when I had to go through the divorce, I had a fight with God. I literally had a fight with God.
Okay.
And my thing with God was like, why can't you just fix this? Because we're supposed to get married. I'm a minister, I'm a preacher, we're pastoring. You know, it's supposed to be to death do us part. We got kids, we have children, and God, all you gotta do is just put your breath on it and make it work. You gotta
Right,
just breathe on it, it's gonna work. And God was like, well, I had never actually told you to do that in the first place.
right,
And what I showed you in the beginning that you were gonna hurt him, you should have just hurt him in the beginning. Now the hurt's gonna be worse because you have 3 little people,
mm-hmm.
in a church that you gotta face now.
Right.
And we actually were separated for over a year before the church knew that we were actually
Wow.
divorced.
Got you.
Because it was just, first of all, we're young. And like you said, when you're young and we were Pentecostal, people don't tell you, they didn't tell you, they just say better married than burned. They don't tell you
Yeah.
that, you gotta like each other. Because when they piss you off, you guys still want to be there.
Absolutely.
Because they don't tell you the things like you're not gonna always like each other, and sex can always fix it. And once you have kids, it's gonna be a little different. They don't tell you any of that. And what if
Right.
somebody lose a job and you can't pay them bills? And what about when you can't pay the light bill, the water? They don't, the things that people
Real
should
life
tell you,
Yeah.
right? You just hear better married than burn. If you don't get married, you're gonna go to hell. You hear those things and you're like, oh, let me get it done. And it's like, wait a minute. I tell people all the time, I would tell people differently. I'd rather you go ahead and have sex and make a mistake.
Mm.
And know that, if that's your driving force, go ahead and get it out the way.
Well,
Because if you're getting married for that driving force, then you may wake up and say, hey, this ain't what I thought it was. And
and,
I know, forgive me as an ordained, licensed person of God, but saying that, but that was my reality. I kind of wish that we would have just messed up and just kept it moving and
well,
realized that, hey, we ain't even compatible like that. You're cool. I'm cool. You're great. Because my ex-husband's amazing. He's amazing. But I mean, it just wasn't meant to be.
well,
But I'm grateful for our children,
right,
because
right,
go
right.
ahead.
One of the greatest challenges, with relationships in general, is you can go take a test, go to school for just about anything you choose to do.
Mm-hmm.
My twin brother's in accounting, and he's got an accounting degree. I've got friends that are in this field. I've got family that are doctors. You can go to school for that. You can take a test, you pass. My son is in law school to be an attorney. So you can anything in life that you want to do, you can go to school, learn it, take a test for it, pass, and it's a done deal. You can't do that with relationships. Relationships are the only thing, well, pretty much the only, my job. I've been on my job, going toward 20 years. We
Congratulations.
we went. Thank you. We went through extensive training, and testing. We had to do an ergonomics test, of course, the drug test, and a few couple of other tests. We had a 75 question questionnaire, asking about teamwork. And before they accept you for employment. Relationships, you don't have. There's no blueprint. There's not a test you could take that you pass or fail,
Or parenting.
or parent. It's on the job training, and that's why it is important. It is vital, for you, just as well as the other person.
Right.
Give yourself time. If
Awesome.
nobody remembers anything else I say when it comes to, especially if you're going into a relationship and you're just meeting a person, give it time. Don't get into that whole, oh, I have feelings for you. Like the person, that's fine, but don't get all emotional, and your heart beating out of your chest, and then when something goes down the pipes, you don't have enough of your heart left to even be yourself.
Right. You get lost.
You
And
got
that's you do simply put, and I do the emotional wellness. So they'll come to me and get well first, and then come to you and you help them get their relationship they
Yeah,
need. Because
it's and two, even with me, with again being divorced twice, the thing that I've learned now, and again, it goes back to the dealing with the hurt and the emotion and all of that stuff, is I was pointing the finger at everything that they did wrong,
mm,
but the reality is I had to deal with me. I had to deal with, what did you have to do with this? What was your,
right,
what how
contribution.
did you affect her? And
Right.
at the time, I wasn't considerate at all of that. It was just, well, she did this, she did that, she said this, she said that. It's a done deal. I'm out. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, now, looking back on it, hindsight is always 2020. You see things better when you come out of it than you do while you're in it. It takes two people.
Mm-hmm.
It takes two people. And when you when I filtered and funneled all of that down, um, it both in both cases it went back to communication.
That's important. Now, it's important also. You say that we look at ourselves, and that's true. And I think my thing is, I'm always looking at me. People might think I don't, but I'm always looking at me. So if I mess up or I leave something alone, I'm saying, oh, what could I've done differently?
Hmm.
But sometimes that will keep you stuck, okay?
Yeah.
Because sometimes you could be like, what could I've done differently? What could I've done this and that? And then I think someone commented, hold on. Hold on, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
about with the book sold out. And okay, cool. Thanks, Ray, for watching. Desiree said it's good to know that a book is selling on Amazon. Yes, ma'am. Now, see, this is all new to me. This whole, I'm not. This is not my lane. Technology is not the
I,
girls' lane. Okay, I can talk all day, but technology, not my department. But
no,
anyway, um, so cool. Okay, good. All right. So yeah. So but I says it's important to those that are watching. 'Cause everyone has different sides of the fence that they view things from.
right,
And
right.
some people they do examine, but don't stay too long on either way. You know,
Yeah,
you acknowledge you have to own your stuff. You have
yeah,
to walk in it and own your stuff. I can say with me, I'm a lot to deal with. It takes a real special man to deal with me. For one, I do believe in submission because I believe there's an order in God.
mm-hmm,
God is God. He's over all. Man is over the woman. I just believe that. And people can shoot me or whatever. Don't really shoot me, but you can talk about me because people talk about me all the time. It's okay. But the man has to be in a position with God
right,
to properly lead.
right,
And my problem is I've had people that know they think they know God,
mm-hmm,
but we all know him, right? But do
right,
we know him?
right. Well, even, I'm a firm believer in this, and this again, this is why I call what I do simply put, even with the God factor. And
Come
here's
on.
what I say: both of my relationships, we had the God factor. She was saved, I was saved, in both of them. In both of them, we both worked in church, and even with that, you still have to learn. Number one, who you are.
Right.
Number two, that person has to know who they are. And when you merge those two worlds together, if you don't have a lot of the stuff internal, depending on what your background is, because that
Right.
major influence in terms of how you view relationships and even how you function within them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if you don't have that stuff resolved and or healed from it, it's going to come out, because when you're single, you don't have to deal with anybody but you. But when you join with somebody, whether they're saved or you're unsaved, what you've been through is what you've been through. And
Right.
when you come together with that person, a lot of the stuff that you typically have not dealt with within yourself, it comes out because now you're connected to somebody else and they see it.
Right.
So as a result of that, now they're telling you, okay, this is what I see within you. This is something that you're dealing with that possibly needs to be fixed.
Dealt with, right?
Yes.
And I say that, so I wouldn't say the save and unsaved thing because I don't like that. So
I,
church,
I, I understand. I'm
but
at a point. My point
yeah,
is, regardless to, let me reword it, okay?
yeah,
Regardless to what the religious dynamic is,
right.
the two people coming together, you still have to deal with the humanity of each person.
There it is. There it is. And that's right. And that's so true. That's what I do with emotional wellness. Let's deal with your issue.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you and where did you come from? Meaning that when your mother and father came together to conceive you, were they in a happy place?
Right.
Were they just in the let's hit it real quick and going about our business? Oh,
Right.
now she's
Right.
pregnant. Oh God, I'm caught now. Oh, I gotta be a parent. Was she sad and emotional? Because those things have a lot to do with how we come out as
Yeah.
adults. And people don't realize your conception, how you were conceived, has a lot to do with your 45-year-old self.
Yeah.
And so I agree with that. But what I was saying about the church thing is like, I'm speaking of from my experiences, you know, when you have a relationship with God, not the church, not
Right.
the church. There's a bunch of church people that they don't even know God, and God don't even know them. That's just be
Right.
100%.
Right. Right.
They go
Right.
to church every time the doors are open, they singing and they sing like angels, but they don't know God.
Yeah.
Period. Because if they
Yeah.
knew God, their behavior would dictate as such.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying, a relationship with God, meaning that their life lines up
Mm-hmm.
with the Creator.
Mm-hmm.
Their talk
Mm-hmm.
lines up with the Creator.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't talking about the the church thing, because it's a bunch of
Right.
ungodly people in the church. That's what
Right.
most of them are, unfortunately.
Right.
I know people gonna probably be like, "You said that for real?" I did. I said it, and I mean it with my whole heart. There's a lot of people in the church singing in the choirs, in
Mm-hmm.
the groups, and they don't know God, and God don't know them. And they're gonna say on that day, "Lord, Lord, didn't I do X, Y, and Z in your name?" He's gonna say, "Depart from me, I never knew you. Your works were of iniquities. Your works were done to get praise of man. Your works were done to get a position in the building. Your works were done to get some money.
Mm-hmm.
You wasn't doing it from a pure and sincere heart." So that's what I mean by knowing God, because I believe that if a man is really being led and know God, I ain't talking about the church, I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about know the Creator. Talk to Him. Like me and you are communicating, actually having a dialogue with God. Hey God, I messed up. Hey God, I ain't feeling this today. Hey God, I'm having problems with my body. Hey God, I just don't like what you just did. I
Mm-hmm.
don't like none of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean you're disrespecting God. It's just saying, hey, you just being honest. He already know how you're feeling anyway. You might as well just be upfront and tell him how you
Right.
feel, right?
Right.
So
Right.
that's what I'm about having a relationship with God, meaning that if they had that, it'd be easy to do. Because sometimes people get in the church for the other person. Back in the day, brothers would go to church just for the girl.
Right.
They
Right.
go, she fine, she in a choir, I'm going to church, holler at her, that's the pastor's daughter, you know what I'm saying? She got that dress on, she moving like that, and so they're all out of order. They ain't trying to be more serve the Lord, they trying to get up on that skirt. And
Yeah.
vice versa, girl, he was on that organ, he was playing them drums. Oh, you saw him. He had that suit on, girl. Did you know? Oh, he preached like that. And they trying to get close to him. They my God. So that's what I'm about close to God, meaning that they have a
Yeah.
true 100% relationship with the Lord.
Well, even with that, and I totally get what you're saying. And here's what I'll add to that is,
Okay.
from the male view or the male perspective is, some men, and I've been that guy, have to grow into who he's supposed to be, and he may not. And like in my first marriage, I was not who I was supposed to be, or who I am now. And sometimes it's just, he's got to grow up, he's got to mature. Unfortunately, a lot of that comes through the school of hard knocks or whatever. But he's got to grow, and then also for whoever that woman is with him. And again, this is why I emphasize, give it time and be patient,
Right.
because a woman, a good woman for that particular man, I call it, she can push him without shoving, meaning she can help progress him forward and not make him fall.
Right. Come on
And
now.
there's
Talk
you,
about
as so with her behind him, saying, "Hey, you need to do this. You need to," because I at 49 years old, I don't like criticism. However, if it's the truth and it's something I know I need to be doing, then I have to listen to it, because that's how I become better.
it. Right.
It's less important for me to hang on to my ego, more important for me to become a better man than I already, I'm not saying that I am the man or a great man, but
Right.
to become better. So my point is, even with whoever that guy is or whoever that man is, that's not quote unquote there yet. He can become that, especially if he's involved in a relationship with the particular female, who, instead of dogging him, instead of badgering him, instead of nagging him, instead of calling them names and telling him everything that he's not, help build that man.
Right. That's right. And on the woman's side, I agree with you 100%, because we should lovingly help our spouse get to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
And then from a woman's perspective, if a man knows how to love the way God has instilled him to love,
Mm-hmm. That
then
that that
whatever that woman, go ahead, talk. I
that,
see.
that
Go
uh,
ahead. Simply put, it ain't so simple tonight now, is it?
it is. It is.
We'll break it on down.
This is passion. When you get into the whole love dynamic, a
Okay.
man is supposed to love, the woman is supposed to love. One of the things that challenges most people, I myself included, is what does love look like to me?
Okay.
What does love look like to her?
Right.
Depending on what you have been through from childhood on up, depending on what type of relationships you've been involved with, that's what determines what your definition of love is.
Hmm.
And for most people, we don't have a clue.
That's true.
For example, you look at like my father was 86, 87 when he passed. He didn't show and express love. That's not the generation he was born in. One of my other grandfathers, he didn't, hey grandson, I love you. That's not what. But love for them was go to work,
Provide.
provide. The wife stay at home, take care of the kids. The
Mhm.
wife's definition of love was take care of the kids, make sure the
He's
family,
okay. The
make
family's okay.
children were clothed. Whether it was a little bit of food or a lot, whether it's you had to wear the same clothes every day or not, it was still the same thing. The mother took care of the home. The dad was outside of the home working. We don't live in that time today.
Right. But it's important, as you just stated, if you don't mind me jumping
It,
in,
it is.
it's important that we know the love language, and not just the love language, those 5 love languages, but knowing what, like you said, what is my definition? What is your definition of love?
Mhm.
Because, like you said, some people, definition of love is he provides, he provides, he provides.
Mhm.
Some people want, I don't care about that provision. I need you to let me know that you love me. I want you to hug me and hold me. Everyone has a
They
different
want it
way.
expressed, right?
Right. So it's important in the beginning to take your time, like you said at first, slow down.
Hmm.
Take your time, drive with the emergency brake on, right?
Yeah,
Proceed with caution. But in that procession, make sure you understand what each other see as love.
right.
Because in the event that you don't see the same thing, that could be a really big problem
And,
moving
and
forward.
and that's why again, be patient and communicate. Because if you're in a relationship and you're pursuing that person, and you're involved and you're communicating,
Mhm.
and it comes to the point, because you're not in a rush, and it comes to the point where you identify, what, the way that this person is looking for love is not the way I'm able to give it to them.
Right.
How to do it this way. But this is where patience and communication comes in. And then at that point, if the two decide, what, we need to go ahead and part ways,
Hmm.
then everybody is safe.
And
Everybody
healthy.
is safe. And there is no love lost, because we've articulated this is a need. This is what's important to me. This is what's important to you. And if you, as long as you communicate that, and you, again, you're not so far deep into the relationship, you can get out of it, and
Right.
it'll be okay. And there are no hard feelings. And
It
this
should
uh,
be.
shouldn't be.
Because I know my last marriage lasted less than a year. But I think we both decided very early on that this was really not, what
Mhm.
it needed to be. But I think one person, because of whatever reason, and that's their situation with them and God, and my issue was more like, I'm okay with letting this go because it's not gonna, it can't go higher than
Right.
where it's
Right.
at,
Right.
and we both agreed that it wasn't gonna work beyond that, and it's okay.
Right.
People are like, well, yeah, you didn't last a year. It did not last a year, but I'd rather not last a year than last a million years and be miserable as
Yeah.
the devil. Because some people are just together for image or children or whatever, and they're really miserable.
Yeah.
And the world could tell they're
That's
miserable.
tough. That's tough.
It is. And I'm not saying jump out of your situation, but I'm saying I'd rather be free and okay and sleep really good at night,
Yeah.
knowing that,
The,
hey, this
the,
didn't
the,
work. It
there's
just
no price to peace.
It's no price for peace. It just didn't work. Don't mean he's a bad person. Don't mean I'm a bad person. Just means,
Right.
hey, we tried it.
Hmm.
We tried it and it just didn't work. No one failed. No one's a failure. It just did not work.
Right.
He can go on and be great, and I can go on and be great, and
Right.
we just great, just apart.
Right.
And sometimes, since I've been divorced, my life has been much better.
Hmm.
And since he's been divorced, I'm sure his life has been much better as well. So we've just both we live in our greatness and our great lives, and it should be able to be like that. But if we would have pumped the brakes in the beginning,
Right.
we wouldn't have had to waste everyone's time coming together to watch
Right.
us,
Right. Right.
exchange vows, but I'm a strong believer that everything happens for a reason.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Whatever the reason is, we got our lessons.
And that's it. And that's one of the things I had to learn the hard way is, I beat myself up, spend a lot of spend a lot of nights crying, because of the mistakes that I felt like I made. But I had to learn, um, this is who you were at that time, but this is not who I'm created to be.
Right.
and that was what I now, just looking back at it, I realize now that this was a part of the learning process.
Mhm.
Everybody doesn't have to go through through a divorce to learn,
Right.
this is who you are, this is who you're supposed to be.
Right.
Some people learned it early on in life. So it's one of those things. Again, I I encourage anybody and everybody, because everybody's in one of three places. Either you're in a relationship, heading into one, or you're coming out of one of the three. And so,
So you said in one, heading into one,
in
coming
one,
out of one.
possibly somewhere soon, headed into one or coming out of one. So everybody's in one of those three places,
Wow.
and, and for me, I'm in the place of I'm not in one, and I'm cool with that.
Right.
And I realize now, that I am not ready for a relationship.
And that's very
You have to be
important,
honest with yourself.
and that's very healthy to know
Yes.
where you are and be okay with it.
Yes.
Because a lot of times, man, people make you feel funny, about, and that's one of the things that a lot of women fall into, the hurriness. I
Yeah.
got,
Yeah. Well,
you know,
and it's
time is ticking, right? Pardon me. But I told my sister, I'm the only child by birth.
okay.
I do have a brother. My dad's son. I have a brother, but my mom adopted some girls, and my older sister would say something to me after my second divorce, and I said to her, I said, my biggest concern is this: I've been my only child all my life, and
Hmm.
I'm pretty doggone cool with being single,
Hmm.
and that's scary for me because I know God's given me what it takes to be a wife,
Right.
right? I know He's given me how to love and how to encourage and how to be a true helpmeet to a man.
Hmm.
So what I'm going to do is I have my new business venture coming out, and I'll be able to demonstrate all the gifts God gave me
Right.
and just demonstrate it to the whole universe of men, as far as the how to help and minister and all that. We'll talk about that later. This is not the show for that. This is your show, simply put. But what I'm saying is this, and that was my biggest concern because I know God blessed me to
Right.
be a wife. And I know He's given me the skills and how to love and how to nurture, how to speak life into the man that He's given me, gifted me to, rather. But it was like I told my sister, I guess my biggest fear has always been that I'm really okay with being single.
Hmm.
Because I've been by myself. I'm the only child. I've been
Yeah.
by myself all my life. I've had to play by myself, talk to myself, help myself out, make myself, all my life. So really, I'm pretty cool with being alone. And nowadays, it's not very many quality people out here. It's
Yeah.
it's a bunch of jerk and jerkettes out here. That just jerky. Jerky, where they just don't really have true partnership, teamness going on, where you are a team.
Right.
It's more
Right.
like, what's
Right.
my agenda, what's your agenda, and
Right.
it's like my
Right.
agenda is to meet your agenda, but I'm not going to stop being who I am because it's who I'm
Right.
called to be, but I'm here to help make you great too. It's just so much foolishness, and you don't, and now with the world is so poly and bi and all these kind of things, you just don't
Yeah.
know who's really a real man and who's a man that mess with men, and who like more than one, and it's just so much stuff that you got to contend with. Like, you know what, Lord, keep me near the
All
cross.
of that falls in the time frame of patience. Give it
Okay.
time.
Yeah.
Brian McKnight said in one of his songs, "All things in time, time will reveal." So that, again, that's why I emphasize. I say it all the time to people. Just give the relationship time and give yourself time. One of the things now, that I really focus on in this term of my being single: three things: build my body, build my brain, and build my business.
Body, brain, and business.
Body,
Okay.
brain, and business. The three B's. What am I teaching myself? What am I learning? Body, of course, eating better, drinking more water, and business, whatever that thing is that you do, regardless to whether somebody else is doing it or not, it's how you do it. Nobody else can do it the way that you do it. Focus on those three things.
Okay. Simply put here. And that's so true. We have to build ourselves, right?
Right.
Any last words you want to share with us tonight? You want to share something great, something grand? We have about 5 minutes left. So, what you want to do? What you want to talk about?
Just do you, be you, be yourself, and focus on that. Focus on becoming a better person. Focus on becoming a better you. If you meet somebody, don't come up with this long laundry list of do's and don'ts. Just chill, have fun, and whatever the relationship is, have fun and learn. Have fun and learn. Have fun and learn you, because again, that means that I can assure you there's some things that you will learn about yourself,
Right.
and there are definitely things that you will learn and need to know about the other person. So that's my simply put.
All right. Simply put. Now, how can I reach you again as we
uh
come on out of here?
YouTube, Price McKinney, MCKI, simply put, just type it in, and I'll come up. Facebook, Price McKinney, and Grill Master _PMac on
Y'all hear that, right? Grill
Grill
Master.
Master _PMac on Instagram. So one of those three social medias.
Okay, Grill Master _ P Mac, y'all. He can grill. He says we have to check
Oh
that.
yeah, oh yeah. That's not a
We have to
single.
have another. We have to have another show about that to see
It's the
how
reality.
true that
Yeah,
is.
absolutely.
Just a reality.
Oh, absolutely.
Any thoughts you want to leave with the people who are watching? And then some people want to watch this on a re. I can't talk today. Watch it over like a Jesus, help me
Recap.
out here. Simply put, help
Re-
me out.
recap.
Yeah, recap. There you go.
And again, be patient and communicate. Be patient and communicate. If you're involved, even if you're with somebody, that still applies. Be patient with the person and communicate.
Be patient and communicate.
Yes.
You have anything that goes along with simply put that you want to share out? Like I have an affirmation, I have a
Mm,
EY prayer. You don't have any type of simply
mm-mm.
put
Keep life simple.
okay. That's a guy thing. Keep life simple. I'm
Life
so complicated. All right. How do we keep life simple as we head on out of here?
by the decisions you make, and making sure that whatever environment that you're in, that
Hmm.
you create a peace for yourself and set boundaries, whereby you don't allow any and everything in. So you have to create your own space, a space where you can have some peace for yourself. So that's how you keep life simple. You eliminate, you control what comes in and what goes out.
Amen. Keep life simple. Now, on that note, I want to remind you all to take time for 10 to reset. Oh my goodness. Take time for 10 to reset, regroup, restart, reflect, and redefine.
Mm,
When you do that, it helps you keep life simple because you'll take time to pause.
yeah.
Sometimes we have to do a hard reset in our lives and just stop. I am Eugene Yvette, and this is Mr. Price McKinney, the owner of Simply Put. Thank you for being with me tonight.
Again, thank you so much.
My
Thank you.
pleasure. It's been an awesome experience. If you'll hold tight, I'm going to end this broadcast and we'll talk afterwards. Okay. Thanks.